Sandra Bellerice, MSN, APRN, PMHNP, BC, cosmetologist, trichologist candidate. Sandra Bellerice is a psychiatric mental health practitioner from Boston with a rich Haitian American heritage. She founded Inspired by Belsa Health and Wellness, where she champions a holistic approach to health and well-being, focusing on the whole person rather than just a quick fixes. Sandra has an impressive career spanning multiple fields. She has been a registered nurse for a decade, a nurse practitioner for 2 years, and a master cosmetologist for over 20 years of experience. Additionally, she is a trichologist candidate at the National Training Institute of Trichology in Atlanta, Georgia. As a trichologist, she combines her extensive knowledge of mental health with her hair and scalp care expertise to provide comprehensive treatments that address both the physical and emotional aspect of hair loss. Sandra also runs a small private practice specializing in depression and anxiety. Through her website, inspiredbybelsa.com, and her YouTube channel, Inspired by Belsa TV, she offers various mental health services, resources, and inspiring content. Her mission is to provide compassionate and comprehensive psychiatric care, helping individuals navigate their mental health journey with support and understanding. We are excited to have her share her insight and experiences today, shedding light on the intricate connection between mental health and hair health, and offering practical advice for those dealing with hair loss. Hi,
Thank
Sandra.
you, Barack.
And
Well,
I have to add
much.
that we worked together at some point.
At some point, with years ago.
And I am happy to have you and to welcome you here. Bonsoir et bienvenue.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. It's my privilege and pleasure to be here talking to y'all, but today is not really about Sandra, but because, it's something that's very dear to my heart. When I'm going to start talking about hair loss, how much it has impacted, right, our community of color. For myself, it's a very personal story. As you can see, I have a very low haircut today. It is by choice. I made that choice to cut my hair off because of many years of dealing with hair loss and having to hide underneath the wig, not having the education and the knowing how to do better for my hair. So I went to different hairstylists where they just did a lot of damaging to my hair. Also by watching people on YouTube, by copying other things, or, just friends and stuff, and then we're just destroying our hair. So today's conversation is really, really important because as I'm in the field of nursing and also psychiatric mental health, and also being a hairstylist, I am recognizing how much hair loss has impacted a lot of people. Going through the process of losing your hair and feeling depressed, when you look at yourself and you no longer look like the person you were in the past, it has a psychological impact on you. And what's happening more and more, I have recognized people, women of color, we are suffering with hair loss. So I'm going to share my PowerPoint and kind of do a little small education, but nothing that's going to be over the board, but also it's just going to bring awareness that there's some stuff we may do to help us to do better. I know I'm Haitian American. I'm going to have a little bit of Creole here and there if I can. But, I just want to give the message right, because if I speak a little Creole and I didn't translate it right, that means I'm going to put forth the wrong message. So my friend Parat, will be helping me. Right, so I'm going to share my screen. And all right, so as we can see right here, this is actually a picture of myself. That's une photo de moi-même, comme si la transition m'a perdu cheveux. So I'm losing my hair here. This is serious because most of the time you're thinking like the hairstyle you're doing it as protective hairstyle. But the same way they're like protective, but it's destroying your hair follicles. So this is me on the stage where over here you see how my hair started thinning, but you have all the thick hair over here. So I'm gonna move up to the next page. Okay. All right. So let's talk about hair. I have to show this. In order for me to really teach what I'm gonna teach, this is basic. I'm not going to go into science, but we have to know what is hair. Did you know that the scalp that we have on top of our head, that's skin, that's part of our face, is skin? So if you have a scalp that's not healthy, if your scalp is not clean, that's what's gonna happen. You're not going to have hair that's gonna grow out of there. C'est comme si peut-être ou pas clean, peut-être ou bien infection là-dedans, cheveux qui supposé grandir, pas grandir. Okay, and commence. Let's start with this. To understand clearly what's happening here, we have to understand the hair growth cycle. The first cycle is the anagen phase. It's active growth hair, and it lasts about 2 to 6 years. 80 to 90% of our hair today, if you look at it, that's the hair you'll be seeing on that stage. Then it goes to another stage called the catagen phase, which is the transition phase where the hair stops growing. It lasts about maybe 1 to 2 weeks. It just stays there. There's no growth, nothing going on. Then it moves on to the telogen phase, which is the resting phase. In that phase, you have the hair right there, but you have the new little piece of follicle hair right there. So this hair is detached from the follicle. It's the old hair. That's the hair that's going to come out. But this one's the new one that stays right there waiting for its turn to go into the cycle, right? And then there we go. The hair sheds, the new hair gets nutrients, all that good stuff for eating, blood flow to the scalp. This old hair falls out. So usually that's the hair we see that falls out, and then we get a brand new hair. Okay. So today my topic is on alopecia. What is alopecia? Well, the medical term for it is hair loss. It's simply hair loss. So, and it can affect every part of the body. Sometimes people will have hair loss on the head. Sometimes they'll have hair loss on the eyebrows. Sometimes on the eyelids, on the arm, your legs, your arms. So alopecia means hair loss, but there are different types of alopecia. We have alopecia areata. This is where you will see certain small spot on the person's head, about a quarter size, that much of hair loss, but they still have the full head of hair. You have alopecia totalis. This is where you'll see people have total baldness on their hair, no hair at all, complete no follicles, no hair, but they still have eyebrows. They still have they still have beard. They still have underarm pits hair and stuff. But alopecia universalis, which is this one right here, where you will see a person have no eyebrows, no eyelashes, total baldness everywhere. This one, androgenic alopecia. This one deals more with hormonal issues. You will find this type of alopecia when people have male pattern baldness, or some female after menopause will start having this type of hair loss, androgenic alopecia, more hormone. But today my focus will be on traction alopecia. Those are the different type of alopecia as I discussed. This is the alopecia areata, which is where the circle patches are right there. This is the universalis. That means no hair, completely bare. This is still another form of alopecia. This is another form of hormonal, like hair is just thinning out, it's diffusing, they call it, due to hormones. This is another form of dermatitis issue where you have serious psoriasis or dry dandruff. It becomes so bad and inflamed that it stops your hair from growing. So this could cause hair loss also. And this is just another picture just to show you right here. This is male pattern baldness, and woman has it too. Okay. Why is this my interest? This is interesting for me because the more we move on to this world, we're noticing how us colored women are being put, like we're having to put dyes on our hair, color, weaving, straight hair, because we're trying to fit into the normal society. But what's happening with us right now, our hair was not meant to have all these products in it. So what's happening now, we have data showing that about 47.6 Black women in the United States experience hair loss. And when they go through this hair loss, it's private. It's sad. No one really know they are losing their hair. They're just really sad because no one wants to talk about this embarrassing disease. Regardless of if we didn't do all these traumas to our hair, guess what? 40% of women, any color, Black, white, any culture, at some point, women will have some hair loss at the age 50. Why? Because of disease process, hormonal process, medication process, lifestyle, and all that stuff. But for us as colored women, our focus is going to be on traction alopecia. And also there's another common type, which is, it's a very long word. I'm going to try to say it. It's centrifugal cicatricial alopecia. But in our world, we just call it CCA. And this is this one right there. This form of alopecia is literally scarring. There will never be hair on those spots anymore because this person waited way too long to get help. Traction alopecia right here, you may have some chances of the hair coming back if you go and get the help sooner, and if you stop doing what you usually do, that's gonna cause that. Okay, so what are the causes of traction alopecia? Of course, tight hairstyles. I remember back in the days when I went to get my hair braided, and my hair would be so tight. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna be a trooper. I'm gonna hold on because this hairstyle looks so cute. But I'm in pain. But you know, so we sit there. We're wearing tight braids, tight ponytails. But guess what we're doing? We are destroying the follicles that I showed you prior to that. We're wearing heavy extensions. It could be dreadlocks. We could have natural dreadlocks. And if the dreadlock is so heavy for the follicle, it will break the follicle. It will damage your scalp. And also we have people that uses like rollers. If you're doing like a roller set and the roller set are very tight, all that tension of the roller set will cause you to have traction alopecia. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of alopecia? Well, it's not something that's gonna happen. Let's say today, if I put like a tight braid on my head, that doesn't mean I'm going to have traction alopecia. It's something that happens over time, months and months and months, years and years and years of the abuse of the friction. So it's a gradual thinning of the hair, receding hairline. And it's not like a straight receding hairline. It's kind of like different angle of the thinning of the hairline right there. And this is due to the damage of whatever hairstyle this person was doing, causing the thinning of the hair. What happened is that if you don't stop the problem, the insult to the scalp, the injury to the scalp, this can become a permanent condition where the hair will never grow back. Usually, what will the client say? What would the person say? Usually the person will say, well, my head is very tender. Oh, my head is itching. I don't know if anyone see when people get their hair tight and so they're like go patting it like that. That is actually a sign of inflammation. You're like, oh my God, it's tapping, 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 tapping. Oh my God, your body's literally telling you you're killing me. The hairs are like, you are destroying me. So please, people, as of today, after this PowerPoint, I want anybody that's tapping their head, please let them know you have some inflammation up there. You need to take off that. And we're being very confused too, because people say, well, I'm going to wear protective hairstyles. I'm going to wear my braids. I'm going to wear my crochet. I'm going to wear my wigs for like 3, 4, 5 months. What's going to happen with that scalp? Not washing it, not taking care of it. So you're literally doing damage to that follicle like we spoke about before. All right, this is what I really wanted to show. Healthy hair shaft and flame hair shaft. So this is supposed to be how our hair is supposed to look. This is the top of the scalp. This is underneath. I always think about this. If anybody knows how to plant or how to do gardening, they know that they have soil. You have to put fertilizers. You have to put all the good stuff in the soil in order for the seed of the plant to grow. And if that soil is dry, if that soil doesn't have the appropriate nutrition, guess what? You're not going to get your tree's not going to grow. Your plant's not going to grow healthy, right? So look at this. This is now when we're doing these tight hairstyles, or when we're doing all these tight ponytails, or not even tight hairstyle. What about wearing the scarf? What about people that wear scarf, mouchoir, malgré très dur, la serré, it causes inflammation. So this is the hair follicle, right? And this is the inflammation. Guess what happened? Now the body has to fix this problem. And all this thickness of inflammation comes here. Guess what? The hair's not gonna grow anymore. It's not gonna get all that nutrients. It's gonna fall off. All right. So what's the risk factors? Yes. Is that everybody gonna get traction alopecia? Maybe not. Because if your hair was already very thick, you might do a couple of tight hairstyles and your hair never came off. Especially when you're younger. You might do a very tight hairstyle, but your hair still grows. But as you get older, hair changes, it thins out. So let's just say for myself, and I have to make this a personal journey because it is my personal journey of my hair loss. I remind my daughters that, look at me, my hair was thin and it fell off. I will encourage y'all not to do tight hairstyles, because what's going to happen, genetic predisposition, says it genetically, your mom had thin hair all over the hair, or she had alopecia, most likely because of genetic, you're going to have it too. So if you continue to do styling with like high tension, ponytails, tight scarf, braids, weaves, lace front wigs, all that's gonna cause traction alopecia. Using chemicals, relaxers, like for example, people, from what I'm hearing, some people will relax their hair, put a perm today, and then tomorrow do braids. That's 2 different things you're doing. You're actually perming your hair, causing damage to that hair because you're stripping the hair down, and now you're taking that same hair that you already stripped with chemicals, you're adding extension to that hair, which is a weight, and then the fibers of the extension to that chemical, guess what's going to happen? You're going to be prone to some traction alopecia, okay? Now, this is where my passion goes through, because I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and my goal is always to help somebody to feel better, always encourage them from their depression and anxiety. What happens when somebody has thin hair or they're losing their hair? My goodness, what happened? I went through it, because psychologically, you don't have no hair. Psychologically, a woman is known by their hairstyle. A woman is, that's what it says. You gotta have hair, right? Most of us in society say that. So when you start feeling like I'm stuck, I have to wear a wig, or this is it for me, I destroy my hair, there's no cure. Guess what? You start being depressed. You start having anxiety, especially wearing the wigs. You might be in a situation where you're wearing the wigs and the wig fall off. So now you're anxious about wearing wigs. So it's definitely a psychological impact having hair loss and traction alopecia. So it's important to, if anyone that's suffering from hair loss, or it's very important to let them know, go ahead and talk to a counselor, talk to someone about your pain and suffering. You don't have to live like that. The more you talk about it, the more you become accepting of what's going on, and finding a hairstyle that suits you the more you'll be happy, and the more maybe your hair might grow back because you're not worrying that much. You don't have that stress cortisol hormone happening. All right, what is the prevention? We spoke about the reason, how common it is. Is there hope? Of course there's hope. There's hope in everything we do in this life. There is prevention, but we have to listen to it, right? That means some of us might have to avoid tight hairstyles. Yes, it doesn't have to be tight to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be tight to mean that you really have a good hairstyle. You could use other hairstyles that reduce tension. Instead of wearing a weave, you could wear like a glueless wig that you could just take on and take off. You could use gentle hair practices and products, meaning if your hair's been out of a braid, you're not just gonna take a comb and just rip through your hair, just rip through your hair to detangle it. You're gonna separate your hair by pieces and start combing from the bottom of the hair and then reach into the top slowly but surely. Because the more you rip through, especially African American hair, our hair is very easy. Even though we might think our hair is thick and coiled, it's very easy to damage our hair. You could use products like that's made for our hair, for 4C's hair. You could use shampoos with conditioners and taking the patient to get treatment so your hair could be softer instead of just ripping throughout your hair. So what is the treatment options? We spoke about maybe the things we could do at home. First of all, we're gonna avoid all the injury to our scalp and to our hair follicle by stopping the hairstyle, the tight scarf, or the tight ponytails. First, you're gonna go to a dermatologist. Yes, you can go to a dermatologist, and if you have insurance, they will pay for it. A dermatologist is a doctor that specializes on skin, scalp, hair, and everything about the skin, the whole body with the skin. A dermatologist will literally do a scalp analysis, and sometimes they will take a section of a little piece of your scalp and determine what is the cause of your hair loss. Getting this diagnosis is important because, like I said, from the other slide, we have different type of alopecia. You can have traction alopecia and also have androgenetic alopecia, which is due to your hormone or any other disease process like diabetes, high blood pressure, thyroid issue. So this is why it is recommended you go to a doctor to get this proper diagnosis. After you get your diagnosis, then you could move on and speak to a consulting a trichologist, which is a person like myself. A trichologist is a little bit different than a hairdresser because we specialize in the study of the scalp disorders and hair loss. We focus on really focusing on trying to get the client to restore their hair back. A hairdresser also can do that, but like I said, trichologist is what you will need to get this type of treatment from. And trichologists actually, then we personalize your care. We don't just only do treatment, we also talk about diet, what kind of food are you eating? And we also encourage you, we try to work with your dermatologist because in order for you to really know what's going on with hair loss, we definitely have to determine if there's any other disease process. So a blood work is important to get done. Now, once you see a dermatologist, I'm not sure if anyone heard this, there's other treatment, there's over-the-counter medication we could use. And the dermatologist also could refer you to get that. It's called minoxidil. It's called Rogaine. Rogaine is a good medication that you could put on top of your scalp, topical treatment. And it's, like I said, you could buy it over the counter. It will help to change the phase, it will help. This is what it's gonna do. Let me go back. Let me go back to this. What Rogaine will do. Rogaine will go, all right. So once you put Rogaine, you see how we go into this phase of resting? Rogaine will help your hair to go back to this stage faster. So by using Rogaine, we're gonna skip all this resting. We're gonna push this hair to go into active growth. But with the thing about Rogaine, your hair will grow. But the minute you stop using Rogaine, guess what? You go right back to that resting phase. You see that? Okay. So Rogaine is a great medication that we could use for our treatment. Let's just say if you went to the dermatologist and the dermatologist determined that your scalp is inflamed. Inflammation could come anywhere. They will probably prescribe some oral corticosteroid, which is like a steroid. And steroid usually will bring that inflammation down. And if the inflammation is down, guess what? Your hair is going to grow back if that was the cause of it. But we have another treatment. It's called platelet-rich plasma, PRP. This is an injection which I can provide that treatment as a registered nurse. I am certified to do that treatment where I will take your own blood and I will spin the blood and I will take the actual yellow part of the blood, which has the platelet, the growth factors, and I will inject it into your scalp, and that growth factors will go into where the scalp is not, where the hair is not growing. It will stimulate hair growth through that injection. Usually that treatment is about three segments of treatment. You have laser therapy. There's low-level laser light therapy where some people, you come in, you get the treatment. It's going to stimulate the hair follicle again to promote growth. Because again, if there's no blood that is flowing on that scalp, no hair will grow. If that scalp underneath is not getting the nutrient, the light that it needs, it will not grow. All right, so I'm going to the next slide. So this is what I was talking about, the PRP treatment. Is basically you take the patient's blood and you put it in a machine, you spin it, and you separate the blood because the blood have all the nutrients. And you'll take the plasma and then you inject it in the person's scalp. And there have been a lot of good results with that. It's non-surgical. But let's just say if you did all that, you did the massaging of the oil with the rosemary oil, you did all the good home remedy that you have, and then there's no growth at all. This is where it's going to be determined. We call it scarring alopecia, meaning it's done. There's nothing that's going to grow in there. Let me see if I have a picture of that. I think I had the picture of that. Yeah. So let's just imagine if we did everything and there's like a scar, it's very shiny. You'll see like certain part of people's hair that doesn't have hair growth. It'll be very shiny. That means the body has healed, it's scarred, and there's no hair that's gonna come out there. The only way to put hair there if you have a transplant. That's when people will do surgical transplant. They'll put take a healthy part of their scalp and they'll transplant it to the part that doesn't have the hair growth. All right, so we spoke about that. Yeah, right. Now, trichologist service. Why am I talking about trichologist? Of course, because I'm a candidate. I'm a trichologist. I'm going to be one soon. And I'm going to have a hair loss clinic pretty soon in Boston. Why am I having that? Because I'm seeing too many hairstylists out there just killing people's hair. I'm seeing too many people losing their hair for no reason. I hope to be one of the person in Boston that will offer treatment that will help people to keep their hair on top of their head. I never will want for anyone to go through what I went through, where I have to shave my head in order for me to have a peaceful without wearing a wig. So to avoid that, why not? This is why God has called me to serve my people, my community, to bring awareness on how important that we must treat ourselves better by taking care of ourselves and not do things that's going to abuse our hair. So in trichologists, even if it's myself or anybody else that call themselves a trichologist, we do scalp analysis. What is scalp analysis? Well, besides the dermatologist, that's the doctor, we also have scalp analysis scope machine where we'll scope your hairline, we'll scope your scalp, and we'll find out how healthy the follicles are. And that's going to determine what kind of treatment we need to do for you. So once you get your diagnosis, we'll know exactly what we need to do and what kind of shampoos, what kind of treatment we got to do. You'll definitely will design a personal plan for you, meaning the treatment. It could be, I might put you in a regimen, like a healthy diet regimen. Because if you're eating food that are getting you inflamed, then guess what's going to happen? Your scalp's going to be inflamed. Your hair's going to fall out. Then we might talk about certain special shampoos that's not going to change the pH of your hair. Because Just think about the water that we use at home when we use the water at home, the pH level of the water and the pH level of the shampoos that we're using. Do you know all that changes the chemical of the scalp of the hair? And that's why most of us are not getting hair growth. So that's important to know too. It's a lot of education, but I think the more people know about it, the more people's gonna recognize that I do have hope to keep the hair the hair on top of my head. There's another treatment called micro needling. I'm not sure if anyone heard that. It's really small little needles where you kind of stimulate the scalp. You're kind of creating a little bit of healthy inflammation, because once the body knows there's inflammation, guess what? It's gonna bring collagen to produce in that area so the hair could grow. So it's kind of like you're stimulating the scalp and you're adding products that's gonna help the hair to grow. Then we have scalp treatment. Like for those people that have heavy dandruff, like psoriasis, sometimes you know how back in the days you find people having dandruff and you see them take a comb, they start brushing it off, like skin. Oh my God, you're creating inflammation, you're destroying the follicles. So they have shampoos for that. You just put it on top of the person's head, you leave it there, and all the whiteness just grows out, comes off. It's called exfoliation. Once you do that, guess what? We need to hydrate the scalp. First, we're not going to hydrate the scalp by just putting water there, but we need to drink water. Do you know most of us don't drink enough water, and part of it is why we're losing our hair too? What about stress management? Do you know stress could cause all your hair to fall off in a matter of months? Because guess what? It just activates the follicles to die. So when we have a stressful life and we're not able to help ourselves, all the stress hormones will go into our scalp, and guess what? We will have stress, hair loss. So with that being said, I will encourage everyone that has very high stressful life to also find a counseling, or maybe to find ways of de-stressing. It could be through prayer. If you know how to pray, you pray, but the stress has to go. The more stress you have, the more your hair is gonna fall out. All right, so this is just some of the services that may be offered by a trichologist like myself, soon to be. This is the scalp I was talking about, the scalp sculpting. So it actually, you have this equipment here and it will show up in your computer. It kind of tells you, determine how much the hair follicles, how healthy they are. Then there's another way to kind of treat hair loss without you completely. I know all the people that's afraid to trim their hair. Trimming hair is a good thing. You know, they are cutting the split ends is good, because when you don't cut the split end, it splits all the way up to the roots. So splitting hair, we call it shear therapy. We also have the red light therapy. This is actually a machine that will stimulate in the hair follicles underneath. And then there's good result with this, actually. It promotes hair growth. So you could buy the laser yourself, or most trichologists will have them in their business for you go in and get the light therapy. Definitely diet is an important thing. Why is diet so important? Let's just say if you're a vegetarian, you might be missing B12 vitamins. You might be missing iron-rich food because you're not eating protein. You're not eating animal protein, right? And what do you need for hair growth? You need protein, you need B12 vitamins, you need vitamin D, especially we live in a climate in New England where we don't get enough vitamins. And vitamin D is good for keratin in our hair. So healthy diet is important because we need protein, iron, zinc, and all that great stuff. So some people will say, okay, I'm not able to eat all that healthy food. Some people supplement. It's okay to supplement, but it's always best if you could eat all the natural foods and stuff. But, you know, supplement like zinc, B12, a blood test to determine if you're anemic, because if you have anemia, your hair's gonna definitely fall out. All right, so as a trichologist, a holistic approach is best, right? First, you're gonna go to a dermatologist. They're gonna determine what kind of hair loss you have. You may go to your hairdresser and let your hairdresser, hey, you know what? I just got diagnosed with traction alopecia. Maybe I won't be doing the frontal wigs anymore. Maybe I won't be doing the braids anymore. Maybe I want to do my dreadlocks into a heavy, tight hairstyle. So that's important to speak to your hairdresser, because they're gonna help you to have hair to grow back. Not only you're addressing the issues, meaning the styles you're wearing or the scarf that are tying, you also need to address your physical health. Being healthy. If you have high blood pressure, then you have to take medication, and some medication, which is good, but they're gonna cause hair loss. If you have diabetes, which is part of autoimmune, it's gonna cause hair loss. Some people have lupus, that's gonna cause hair loss. If you're very, very stressed, that's going to cause hair loss. So overall, the emphasis of this whole thing I'm talking about is a healthy diet, exercise, and plenty of water, hydration. Drinking, how much water you're supposed to drink, half of your body size. So half of your body size determine how much water you need. Is traction alopecia permanent? No, it's not permanent, because if you stop it at an early stage, traction alopecia doesn't have to be permanent. But if you continue to do the abuse of the hair by adding all these stuff, it will become permanent. And my sisters and everybody that's in this platform, even if there's men that's in the platform, it's good to talk about anyone that you may recognize. It's a very sensitive issue, so you can't go to people and say, hey, you got traction alopecia, I heard about it, because, it's a very, very sensitive issue. But you may tell them that, well, there's help, because if you go to a dermatologist, they may be able to diagnose you, or may be able to give you treatment that's going to help you to get your hair back. All right, so there's a lot of success story where people stop the insult, the injury to the scalp, but the hair grows back. All right, so this is me. All right, this is me wearing my wigs, of course. This is me transition to my bald head. Actually, this is me where my hair started growing back. And as you can see, a lot of the gray hair, it was completely bald right here. But by fixing my nutrition, I was a little bit anemic. I was anemic, so I had iron infusion, so my hair grew back. I went to a process of hormonal issues, so my hair grew back. But today I decided to just be bold and wear my hair like this. Am I ever gonna go back to the wigs? Of course, I may wear the wigs, but now I know how to wear it. I'm not gonna wear glue on top of my head, never. And I don't expect for anybody to have a bald head to be like me, to just wear their hair bald, because again, it's a personal decision. I hope that I could impact, but I just wanted to add this little scripture here, as I really love my Jesus, and Jesus is everything to me. This one stood out, Matthew 10:30. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. Can you imagine that? That we were born and God knows every piece. He even knows how much hair I lost. He knows that. That's how much God wants you to know, that he cares about us. So we need to start showing, being a bit kinder to ourselves. Yesterday, you did not know this information. If today you know this information, guess what? You're not going to tie your hair tight with a scarf. You're not going to do a perm today and then braids tomorrow. You're not going to do your dreadlocks and put in a heavy high bun. You're not going to, I don't know, I'll let y'all say it, but this is time for questions. I hope my presentation was very helpful. I know I kind of rushed through it, but the message is clear. We got to think about ourselves first. Education is power, and knowledge is power. I am open for any questions. I will do my best to answer.
Thank you so much, Sandra. I know everything was done in English, so and I know we have a mixed audience. And so, si gen moun ki genyen question ki ta remen pose, ki santi yo plus à l'aise en créole, yo gen doit poser li. Si genyen moun ki vle pale pose question directement en anglais, donc on est que Sandra a fait de son mieux pour répondre ni en créole. Quand elle bloque yo, nous là pour nous capable de débloquer. Thank you so much, Sandra.
Thank you.
Et moi-même, pour me capable de dire, ou d'ici, hier, nous pas connaître ça, aujourd'hui, nous connaît plus. Ça, il y a une bagaille que parce que c'est pas un terme, moi, qu'on a des tricologie. Par contre, ça vraiment. How common is that science? Because it's not something that I've heard before.
Which
And
one?
Psychologists?
Oh, trichologists. Yeah, it's been around for hundreds of years. But it's more like holistic because comme si quand pile monde comme si qui fait traitement holistique, ça veut dire yo fait traitement feu, traitement comme si j'en ai mangé, nutrition. But it's been around for a while, but now what's happening because of so many people losing their hair, now it's coming more out there now. It's becoming like trichology is gonna be the big thing because a lot of women are losing their hair, especially Black women. Because first, you got to remember, first they introduce us to the chemical, right? To the relaxers. They give us the relaxers. Now the relaxers destroy our hair. Yo ba nou perm nan koupe cheve nou. Kounye la yo fin ba perm nan yo mette perik pou nou. Kounye nou mette perik la lan tèt nou, nou pense perik la pral ede nou pou nou sauve cheve nou, parce perik la fè li kontroube plus pou nou enrache cheve nou. So ça veut dire son maquette lié, son domaine maquette lié, it's all about money. Et puis nous-mêmes, noirs qui noirs, nous c'est nous-mêmes qui spend plus l'argent. We spend more money than anybody in the beauty industry. So they are making money out of us. Plus temps que tête nous perdons des cheveux, plus temps il y a fait produit pour nous.
Exactement. So, yes. Alors, nous intéressons moun à lever main virtuelle, ou bien nous capables d'écrire réponse non, ou bien question non, commentaire non dans chat room non. So I'm reading a few comments here. Thank you, Sandra, for taking the time to educate about hair loss. God bless you. And you did a great job, Sandra. Thank you for the info. So true. This information is priceless. See, everybody is happy to be here and to get all this knowledge. We have Monique's hand. Monique déjà levé. N'a pas passé Monique la parole. Et puis ensuite, si gagne l'autre monde qui a besoin de poser des questions, raise your hand, either virtual or unfortunately, I won't be able to see you because I'm recording this. I won't be able to see you if you do it just like this. But if you write something in the chat, I will be able to see that you want to ask a question. Before we hear Monique. I'm gonna ask you if you can stop sharing your screen. That will be a good thing, Sandra. Please stop sharing your screen.
Oh, stop. Okay, sorry. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay. Well, thank you. And now Monique, we're gonna power.
Okay, thank you very much, Sandra. That was very good. And just like you, I'm also a victim of hair loss because it's funny, the other day I was looking and then the front of my hair is bald. I'm like, oops, what's going on? So my daughter has introduced me to, excuse me, biotin, that pill. So what do you think about it?
Well, the funny thing about biotin is really good for hair, but if you do a blood work, you're gonna probably find out you're not low on biotin. But it's something that they're selling us, right? It's good for hair and skin and nails and stuff like that. But to be honest with you, Monique, you're probably not low on biotin. What's a good thing for you to take is maybe vitamin D, because most likely if you're not getting the amount of sun that you need, vitamin D plays a big part of hair loss, and zinc is a good thing for you to take. And also B12. So my first thing, if you're able to get a blood test, right, just in your physical, ask them, say, you know what, I would like to know what's my iron level, what's my ferritin level, because ferritin level is where the iron stores and stuff that do to help make the new blood cells for red cells. I will rather you find out medically first what's the cause of your hair loss instead of just buying biotin. I mean, you could take it, of course, it's probably going to supplement it, but to really find the real deal of why is my hair thinning? It could be an iron issue. It could be a vitamin D low level. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I recently had my blood drawn. It's yes, you're right. I do have a low iron level. They actually just put me on a high dose of iron to
Yeah.
just to help. So, but I wasn't. I never put it together that hair loss and anemia could be. I never really put that together. I thought it was because I abuse my hair because when I brush my hair, I'm tough on it, and I already have thin hair, and brushing it just makes it even thinner or falls out even more. Yeah.
So Monique, you're gonna be nicer to yourself. Why are you brushing your hair so hard?
I have no idea.
All right, so that's part of self-care. No more brushing hard because you're destroying those follicles, right?
I heard that at home. Yeah.
Yes, and take those iron pills, right? And you're gonna take it with vitamin C because vitamin C helps iron to absorb the iron in your body. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Monique. Nous avons Marlène et ensuite Rose qui vient me lever successivement. Marlène, you go first, and then Rose will come after.
Hi, bonsoir. Thank you, Sandra. So do I speak, est-ce que me parler en créole ou traduit ou bien comment on a fait ça?
Ou te va parler créole, moi comprends très bien. Just, just pas de mauvaise information si me parler créole. Ou comprendre si me traduire le créole, that's why. Ou te va parler créole.
Ok, d'accord. Moi-même, c'est plutôt, mon commentaire suivi par une question. Moi, réalisé que the media, on va parler différents langages, sorry. The media has such a huge impact on especially the young Black women. Médias, télévision, et surtout l'on regarde des shows yo, où c'est en dalle mesdames, cheveux longs, fait des lace front, fait des... Parce que quand on en dalle jeune fille noire, yo gen belles cheveux naturels, mais somehow they believe it's not pretty. So they have to put something on top to make, they have to pretty much use fake hair to look pretty. Donc c'est une raison qui fait un pile jeune, yo continuer toujours à mettre cheveux, mettre perruque, et ça vient fait que ça, it's a cycle, it's a vicious cycle, côté que dans série de monde ou pas jamais vrai cheveux yo, surtout les en public parce que y a toujours un bail sous tête yo et puis en même temps c'est ça qui détruit cheveux yo, c'est ça qui cause alopecia comme on dit, ça fait plusieurs dommages et comme on dit je pense que c'est à travers l'éducation que nous sommes capables d'aider jeunes ça yo, pas même jeunes, des adultes en que nous-mêmes nous prenons un piège là tout. On comprend des fois, tes cheveux nous naturels bien belles, mais nous pensons, faut nous sembler, faut nous à la mode, faut nous mettre, n'a regardé mon yo dans la télévision, faut nous faire un coup yo. Donc, ça vient malheureusement fait que, bon, dévalorisation des cheveux des femmes noires, parce que message nous a regardé dans les médias, yo fait nous croire que faut cheveux nous soient pour le belle, faut d'une certaine façon. C'est pour ça, I think there's a movement out there of Black women taking back their power to say, no, her hair is beautiful the way it is. So, we're going to pile mesdames noires qui ont des cheveux naturels, et puis they are very proud of it. I think we need to see more of that pour nous défaire l'idée que cheveux du parce que les courses et tout ça, les pas belles. Donc, c'est ce point ça me devait soulever parce que c'est une réalité que moi, et nous prenons un piège là tout, qui vient faire que nous tellement fait des choses avec cheveux, nous, et puis comme on dit, industriable vend nous des produits tout, il a fait nous croire que nous besoin ça. Cheveux, nous mettons des bagages qui détruisent cheveux nous, et puis il a vend nos produits pour nous résoudre les. Donc, c'est son industrie n'a fait vivre comme ça. Donc, pour finir ma question, c'est moi connais une série de monde qui souffre d'alopecia c'est pas à cause de allonge maintenant cheveux, c'est pas à cause, vous mentionnez un stress et tout ça, but could it be a genetic thing? Because sorry, I wasn't there at the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some people, they somehow, I never see hair on their head.
Okay.
It seems to be related to some sort of medical situation. If you can speak to that, thank you.
Okay. All right. Well said, Marlene. Yeah. Because you wasn't at the beginning of the presentation, I focus on traction alopecia for our colored women today. But there's different alopecia. There's, like you said, androgenetic alopecia, which is hormonal based, right? And there's alopecia areata. There's alopecia universalis. There's alopecia totalis. So there's different form of alopecia, but today I just kind of focus on traction alopecia because it's very common in our community without knowing, and there's help there. Yes, I do agree. There's different type of alopecia. It's not only due to the pulling of the traction. Like for myself, I experienced traction alopecia and also androgenetic alopecia, which is where hormonal going to menopause, my hormone estrogen went down. So DTHT, the hormone testosterone hormone went high. That causes the female pattern baldness, so the thinning of the hair. So you are right. You're correct. You didn't see the beginning of it. Hopefully, when they're uploaded on YouTube, you'll be able to see the beginning of the presentation, because I did talk about different types of hair loss.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Marlene. And Rose là?
Et bonsoir tout le monde et bonsoir Sandra et merci pour message ou fait passer après-midi et côté nous apprendre en pile de ça qui maladie, m'pa connais si pour me dire maladie.
Maladie.
OK, alopecia. Avant Marlène Guetta te pose une question pour me connaître est-ce que c'était un bagage qui génétique. Et puis tout, vous te parlé de stress, diabétique, high blood pressure, ménopause. Est-ce que là que nous ouais un monde qui nan genre de ça nous capable approcher pour nous comparer avec un monde qui gagne alopecia? Ça c'est première question là. Et deuxième question là, moi vous parlez de nous-mêmes et les femmes. Est-ce que ça atteint les hommes tout? Alopecia. C'est deuxième question. Merci.
Okay, thank you, Rose. Yes, you're correct. Yeah. Première question, on m'a dit, ou dit, si c'est génétique, oui. And then, si que, if you see, individual, moun, sou moun na gen tension, gen diabète, et puis gen cheveux qui, la perte de cheveux, est-ce qu'on a adressé? Premier ba m'gazou, alopecia, so, when ça veut dire, it mean hair loss. Alopecia mean perte de cheveux. That's what it is, medical term, right? So, nous gen tout différent de gens nou ka perte de cheveux, pas vrai? So, raison moun ki gen high blood pressure ka perdu cheveux, kase sous médicament yo mette yo perdu cheveux, parce que attendez, si nous pas gen circulation, la scalp la tête là, si ça nous pas circuler, cheveux a pas besoin côté pour jeune nutrient pour grandir. So, blood pressure son problème de tension, na balance tension, na pour pomper, kidney, tout ba ça ou pas marcher bien, gen inflammation. So, tout ça yo, et pas juste que seulement qui gen problème, li entre la tête là tout, comprendre? Moun ki gen diabète, moun ki gen diabète yo difficile comme si yo pas fait insuline, yo gen inflammation, pour yo pas guérir vite, tout ça ka affecté cheveux tout, et plus qu'on y là yo vin lan médicament, right? So oui, sou ta won moun ki gen tension, moun nan gen diabète, you know, very nice. Ou pas ka di moun, ou pas di cheveux parce qu'on gen diabète, ou ka di moun, ou pas même temps on cause que médicament et diabète la ka affecté cheveux ou perdre cheveux là comprendre ça manzou là so maybe qu'on yo même yo 40 gens manger ça à manger pour les gens aider cheveux à grandir pas connaître si me répondre toute question hein?
Oui, oui. Deuxième question, non, chez les hommes, est-ce que comme si
Oh,
la
les hommes,
cargaison,
okay.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Les hommes, definitely. Yo rele pa les hommes nan androgenic alopecia. Ça, c'est ça qui fait le hormones yo. Ça, c'est là yo comme si yo gen section la mi-temps tête yo la crown là yo commence perdre du cheveux, yo gen ça tout. Les hommes, yo gen tout, même gens yo gen diabète là, même gens yo gen tension, les hommes nan même ba là, tu pas rien qui change. Vous comprenez ça tout là? So, yo ka gen maladie lupus. So, même baga là, un seul baga yo ka pa gen, but yo ka gen sa kre l'action, sa ki ba friction, comme si nous même ka mette perruque, na mette tout ça, but kounye garçon mette perruque tout, so yo tout la catégorie, toute
C'est ça,
catégorie.
c'est
So,
ça.
yo la
Mais
catégorie à tout.
yo nan studio même janou ye a tout,
Yes,
yo paye même janou tout, c'est ça.
yes. So, kon sa mdi,
Um,
toujours di, en anglais mdi, alopecia, hair loss, have no social class, no boundaries, no discrimination. Alopecia is for everyone. No
okay, thank
boundaries,
you.
no boundaries.
Okay, thank
Uh,
you.
all right, all right. Merci. Bon, regardez moi ça qui est dans le chat là, je capable de partager yo. Gen yon moun qui m'a dit, are you taking patient?
Oh, definitely I am. Yeah.
Okay. And then si ou capable entrer information dans le chat là, si vous voulez partager comment vous capable prendre contact ensemble avec vous et puis tout vous doit dire tout. Et
Yeah, I
puis
could put my business number in and people could and I could talk. Patient as for psychiatric or client as for hair loss.
okay. And I'm reading something else. I agree. The media and stereotypes have influenced the Black community as well as young Black girls to think natural hair is not pretty. Et gen garçon qui metti allonge yo tout. OK. So, en parlant de garçon qui mettait allonge, je songe gen un garçon, un monde qui n'a peut-être dans soixantaine, 70, comme ça qui t'a parlé. Là, dit que comment que l'œil commence à perdre du chevelu, ça te stressé. Li. Et vous avez mentionné au début how sadness can be part of the result of whatever
Hair loss.
what people are going to losing their hair. So parti que moi te gen question moi gen c'est un terme que tu mentionné terme qui était assez long non CCCA am
Yeah.
dit tout.
Mm-hmm.
Donc les mêmes yeah. Donc on dit dans moment ça it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late. But now because it's too late parce que n'a parlé de comme si essayer de tenir dehors c'est solution pour monde qui it's too late là c'est perruque là quand même d'après moi-même c'est pas ça.
Oui, comprends, oui. L'elvin tout les comme ça, nous pas dit pour tout le monde marcher avec tête yo calé même genre pas. Parce que son ba self-esteem li, you comprends? It's all about your self-esteem, right? So, gen service côté ou ka mettre perruque, parce que gens va mettre perruque là. Papa, you're not gonna wear the perruque for 6 months. On va mettre perruque là for wow. Ou still obligé take care pour tête là. Comment ça va dire là? So, but si que nous connaissons information, if we have the information, si nous connaissons information, problème si a pas besoin de temps, this is it, non? L'on prend à l'heure, ou gain plus chance pour pas arriver à degré, this is it là, vous comprenez? But comment pour connaître? So, on dit, si ouais, comme si cheveux a commencé à flasher, ou pas chita, so ça dit, ou pas sortir l'une masque là-dedans, l'une masque bon là-dedans, moi passer le peut-être pas chaque jour. But I had doctor. The doctor, you know what? We know this. Pa want the doctor. We know this. One spot que je vais me payer. Docteur a parlé fait ou il parle joindre dermatologist. Dermatologist a connu par le test là. Et puis il va déterminer qui forme de hair loss ou bien. Comprends? So CCCA, yes. Gen moun y a pas obligé mettre péri parce que pas tout le monde. Because you know what? Perrette, pas gen cheveux a affecté self-esteem.
Yes.
Pas tout le monde qui gagne confiance pour être tout cheveux perdu et puis qu'on y a sans cheveux. Et monde réellement affecté self-esteem. So even with my services, I will be offering services with wigs, but special wigs that when you put on your head, you can go swimming, you can have a regular look, but you have to follow up with the wig. You're not just gonna put the wig and leave, you know? So that's part we call that self-care. Traiter tête tout. So, nobody going to vanity avec non, but it's part of self-care because if my self-esteem, I feel better, then when I go to my job, I could perform better because I feel better about myself. But if I'm not feeling good about myself because I have a condition that's making me feel sad, then I'm going to be miserable. I'm going to be sad. Then that's when you're probably going to need medication for depression, medication for anxiety, where you could have fixed the problem, ou te ka ranger problème nan by ranger cheveux, soit by chercher un style de cheveux qui allait avoir. Comme ça, tout là. Et puis, moi, je dis tout. Maladie peut-être ça. C'est pas une maladie contagieuse. It's not contagious. Ba besoin chita bon kote mwen ba moun alopecia. No. Most people qui get alopecia, they are very healthy people. It's not contagious. So nou pa besoin pe moun nan si nou we moun nan bald. Oh my God, you get alopecia, I got alopecia. No. Alopecia, sometimes you're very healthy. It's more a condition of your scalp where the follicle pa grandi encore. You vin, comment dit, peut-être cicatrice, you just pas grandi encore. I don't know what to say.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Oui, comme c'est parce que peut-être la vini clairer dans un point comme s'il n'est pas semblé qu'il y a un cheveu capable de pousser là-dedans encore. Donc, merci pour la clarification. Nous t'ai mentionné ou t'ai parlé de végétariens qui gagnent une série de nutriments que pas recevoir dans manger protéines de animaux. Au capable bailler encore qui ça parce que dans la communauté que moi-même m'a appartenu dans Adventiste il y a un bon quantité de monde c'est végétarien que yo dans cas ça est-ce que ça veut dire que yo gain plus tendance à faire alopecia ou bien si gon bagay en plus qu'on capable dire ou bien on capable répéter ça te dit qui sujet
ça OK. Oui, so m'a dit en anglais puis m'a porté un petit peu là-dedans. So some people that are vegetarian, complete vegetarian, no meat, no animal meat. So they have a tendency to be low iron, low ferritin, low B12, low vitamin D because all that you need protein for hair growth. So moun ki gon ti jan ki gen diet ki restricté, comme si yo pa manje viande animal, y a gen plus tendance pour yo gen vitamine yo pou low, vitamine iron, vitamine B12, vitamine ferritin level will be low. Tout ça yo ou besoin yo pour aider pour cheveux à grandir. So wap jwen la communauté moun qui fait plus végétarien, wap wè en pile la cheveux yo kapab si tellement cheveux avin comme si bald, but cheveux avin fin. Pas grandi même j'en supposé grandir parce que il manquait protéines parce que protéines c'est ça qui fait follicule la grandir son pour aider bloc follicule la grandir. So pas gain protéines, pas gain vitamine ça oui, moun qui végétarien si yo pas fait comme si prudent pour yo faire comme si discipline pour yo prendre vitamine pour manger qui gain B12 poids noir bagage ceci cela yo oui il y a bien tendance pour cheveux yo vite fait fragile et puis a casser.
OK, merci. Nous gagnons plusieurs monde qui soulignent là. Nous pas connaître si gagne l'autre monde qui gagne question à poser. Nous connaissons que nous gagnons tout. Non c'est pas seulement filles que nous gagnons la souligne là. Moi reconnaître quelques hommes et docteur Roger moi là tout. Moi pas connaître. Est-ce que il y a monsieur qui gagne question qui a un rapport ensemble avec hair loss qui t'a aimé poser question ça parce que nous connaissons que monsieur est très sensible pour faire perdre du cheveux, plutôt bah, toute qualité raison, yo dit c'est coiffeur qui pas bien faire cheveux, vous comprenez, c'est pas problème yo gain bah ça yo parce que ça pour accepter faire. Donc et puis yo même tout, est-ce que c'est la même solution que gain pour les hommes que les femmes?
Ou besoin de parler pour parler normal. Nous pas parler.
Ne pas parler mal.
Well, pour garçon, c'est même, c'est commencer sous manger. moi, c'est tellement connu, moi, involve dans ça m'a fait, parce que son bagage, moi, passionné avec, moi, c'est bon Dieu, mettre ça sous cœur pour me faire. Kounye la kote m yap entraîné la Atlanta, ma pa pren manje sou blood type. Pa kon si nou jam tande de sa, blood type eating. Ça veut dire nou gen blood type A, B, O, plus negative whatever, right? Maybe AB. So as blood type eating is basically avoiding some food that does your body cannot tolerate or digest or causes inflammation. So, lò manje pou type de blood ou, wap kom si pa manje, un peu manje ki ka kontribye lan inflamasyon, right? Men mèm kap suiv diet sa m perdi 20 liv deja. Parce kouni mwen se blood mwen se A. Donc, pile manje, baka manje viande rouge, ka manje poisson, et puis manger un pile légumes, et des fruits ma supposé manger. So, tout ça, y aurait les holistic care. So, blood type eating is very important. So, garçon, fille, ka fait tout, because sou chaque jour manger, et puis, bon, l'autre bagay tout, lè nou bwe café, moun ki bwe café, ou café a gan pile acide, lè gen acide nan kon nou. pH level nan scalp la is different. So now, le matin, ou supposé boire alkaline water to balance the pH in your body. So, c'est pas comme tout bagay ou fait 1, 2, 3. So, my discipline, changer de la vie, lifestyles changing. It's a lot of work. Because changer, raison nous perdre cheveux, c'est pas raison nous chita nous perdre cheveux, c'est parce que nous pas on lifestyles change. You know, nous quitter stress pour nous pas manger bien, especially sur le temps de vie qu'on y a, notre travail, nous pas de temps pour faire exercice, nous pas de temps pour manger bien, manger qui processé, tout ça qui vient affecter corps nous, qui va nous l'autre maladie, qui va nous diabète, qui va nous tension, qui agit sous peut-être nous tout. So, petit cheveux, c'est pas un bail comme si c'est pour filles seulement, non? Garçon, en tout cas, font régime qui changeait diet, qui changeait les choses. Il y a des médicaments même de ma garçon pour aider les cheveux à grandir. On peut savoir tout là, c'est bien ça. But let's just say, par exemple, on dit que il y a pas de jambe grandi, the class fini. Guess what? Still get leur traitement, garçon café, qui ka, ou pas garçon qui va dire que they have hairline, really SMP treatment. It's a scalp pigmentation. So, pigmentation, you fait, et puis you fait comme si son faux polycol, mettre dans cheveux, et puis les bagages sont en ligne, comme si you étais cheveux. Donc, ça, c'est pour vanité, c'est pour self-esteem, vous comprenez? Si que garçon pas veut marcher à tête calée, comme ça, les gars font un traitement comme ça, where they could do the hairline for him with an SP treatment. It's called a pigmentation scalp treatment, where they're gonna put false follicle. It looks like they have follicle, so it doesn't look like you are totally bald. It gives the illusion like you have hair.
All right.
I said a lot. I know I said a lot of stuff. I know.
Yes, nous besoin toute information ça est important. Nous gagnons mais
Ok, alors,
docteur oui docteur Roger après le parler puis ensuite docteur EGM.
alors j'ouvre ma caméra pour montrer ma tête. Hein? Et parce que moi-même, je ne pas jamais tête calée parce que moi-même, depuis petit, moi-même toujours dit c'est prisonnier tête calée, égal tête, je ne pas jamais calée.
Ok, excusez-moi pour le tech calé mot. Vous connaissez là, nous, dans bouche, ouais.
Alors, je ne sais pas si pas dans son forme d'alopécie, mais j'ai un petit peu ici, pas gagné, un petit peu ici, un petit peu pas gagné, mais en arrière, tout en arrière, j'ai des cheveux de tous côtés. Mais devant, il n'est pas fini net là. Bon, j'ai coupé mes cheveux. D'abord, dans le funérail, je coupe les cheveux un peu. Mais il y a un côté là, comme ça, qui n'est pas gagné. Après, ça, sous côté, le gagné. Il y a là, un petit trou là qui n'est pas gagné. Qui ça, il est même? Qui ça, il est même qui a remédié?
That's some androgenetic alopecia. That's male pattern baldness. And that's from DHT being very high, which is your testosterone hormone that's very high. That's causing the blockage of the hair follicle. So it's something that's usually in male, but if you could get the finasteride medication that could help you to grow hair, usually they're kind of prescribed that for men because it kind of lowers the DTH level. so the hair could have better growth. So, and then you got to ask yourself, sir, did your father have genetically bald? Does your uncle, anybody in your family have
Non,
this pattern of hair loss?
alors, je vais dire comment mon petit chéri, je bien aimé ça dire oui, mais je ne comprends pas rien.
Vous avez même parlé en créole pour?
Pas capable. Parce que je ne vais traduire en créole et puis je pour information. Parce que
C'est
créole
vrai,
là, l'eau.
c'est vrai, parce qu'il y a des termes en anglais qui vraiment méritent comprendre parce que nous sommes une information assez intéressante et que vous dites dans ça là, mais qui échappe quelque peu par rapport à termes scientifiques.
Yeah, but you know, ma travail sur ça. Ma travail sur ça, ma ouais, comme si son monde t'a traduit moi pour moi et puis m'a parlé parce que je ne pas appeler par information et puis m'a prend mon médical ville pas bien puis m'a pas faux information, vous comprenez?
Oui, parce que je me sens que information, par exemple, là parler de GH something
DHT, dihydrogenous testosterone, yeah. It's dilute testosterone.
Qui est élevé, qui est en rapport avec testostérone qui est élevé. Comment ça capable de remédier? What can I do?
Well, first of all, because I'm not a doctor, I'm just a nurse. I'm not just a nurse, but I'm a nurse. But it's good to go to a dermatologist. Get a dermatologist. We're gonna always say that because dermatologist is the doctor that's gonna diagnose you.
Okay.
You know, they're gonna even take a little piece of your scalp and find out exactly what's going on. And they're gonna tell you exactly what it is. Then once you find out what it is, then you could go to a hairdresser or you could go to a trichologist like myself. Then we could have different plans on how we're gonna try to restore your hair back. But that includes what you put inside your body. Because what you eat comes out. I don't care how much medication I give you, but if you're eating the bad food that's causing inflammation, it's a waste of time. So
Parce que c'est important pour mon connaître qui blood type ou
blood type eating.
Yeah.
Look it up, Dr. Lamb. Dr. Lamb, go on that website, Dr. LAM, blood type eating. It tells you the different blood type, the food you're supposed to avoid for inflammation. And that will help with a lot of people that have arthritis, pain on their joints, because if you're less inflamed, you're not gonna have pain in your joints and everything like that.
Thank you.
All right. Merci. Qu'on y a gagné, Dr. Achille. C'est le moment, docteur.
D'accord. Je dis merci et me saluer et me remercier Sandra qui dit à l'heure à nos questions et I'm just a nurse. Je dis Sandra non, on NP qui est arrivé au niveau practice, ça veut dire que c'est un healthcare provider en sorte que nous avons même vision avec un médecin. Qui ça là pour capable monter ça parce que comme tel peu monde dire non n'a pour là c'est un practitioner ou c'est un provider. D'accord. Bien. Gain yon bagay dans affaire pédicure pour garçon surtout et qui chauve moi même mon belle chauve mon cas là chauve éclairé ma forme et li familial mais une plus gros raison que fait garçon gain problème ça c'est niveau testostérone cap descend. Et parce que lui-même, garçon, il fait ça, il commence à faire ça dans andropause lui-même tout. Côté que même si fille a une ménopause, garçon a une andropause et plus qu'on va dans l'âge, tout le qui famille que il vit normalement. Donc garçon comme pas tellement même, il fait petit border avec lui, mais ça lié. Donc niveau comment il descend. Et sous test ou faire ou à tester non pour après niveau à descendre il y a un pile bagage surtout sur l'alimentation li compter en pile parce que il ça l'équilibrium en médecine parce que ou cap équilibrer puisque on commence à entrer et puis là il y a bagage l'autre 15 ans 20 ans il s'est passé rapide dans bloodstream non il n'y a pas de problème mais là commence à péager ça lui-même il plus difficile donc c'est que ça deuxième bagage pour garçon encore garçon contrairement avec filles, et niveau stress, garçon, il attaque au plus rapide. Parce que fille, puis fille a parlé avec Komako, Melman, m'entend. Mais garçon, pas parler ça, il est là, il stress, garçon, l'eau, elle parle dehors, il est fini de manger déjà. Donc, stress, c'est niveau ça. Troisième barre encore, c'est dépression. dépression, li crase en pile parce que côté fille lui-même, il prend temps pour gagner dépression, ou même s'il dépresse, mais il veut l'église là, et peut-être, on connaît peut-être moins, il parle là, il dégage, lui. Garçon, il y a un concept que garçon si vous dites fort, en fait que il pas parler problème ni, même s'il a crié dans le mouchoir, mais si après le moi carrément. Donc il mettait le dehors. Donc ça a affecté tout. Donc et deuxièmement pour chaque pour fille différent de chaque garçon, alors les chaque là, c'est côté Sandra parle plus, côté la descend, ça ne même pas Sandra, et pas de même pas moi, je ne pas prétendre que je connais dans ce sens là. Mais si général, de quoi pas ça ou même, et pas de même pas connaître. Même connaître que le différent et l'huile là, est différent. Donc, et, comme monsieur, et ça a fait la dit pour manger, aller bon. Il y a 3 maladies de pour gagner, ou tu as supposé commencer à gagner tout, il dit diabète, et à 100% d'accord avec lui. Il parle de, cardiaque, tout, qui est très important. Aller, et puis, tout le qui avec l'huile dans le corps, parce que oublier l'huile pour que gagne racine. Mesdames, je me dis merci beaucoup, et Sandra, continuez, ou pas seulement just c'est un healthcare provider et me couper pour ça. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Doctor.
Nouvelle trachologiste qui vient dans Boston. Merci.
Thank you, Dr. Joseph. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Merci, Dr. Achille. Donc, nous avons fini jeudi à 8 heures. Donc, nous ne pas avancé. Si il y a un dernier monde qui t'a posé une question, il doit lever main pour capable poser question. Si nous pas un main qui levé, nous avons demandé Sandra pour capable faire une conclusion de présentation et puis on a profité pour nous dire merci à tout le monde qui vient participer et qui fait que le programme c'est une réussite encore une fois et nous souhaitons que l'information que nous acquérir à Soya nous capables de partager ensemble avec d'autres et puis comme ça nous capables de changer la communauté nous parce que l'objectif là c'est pour nous capables de grandir ensemble pour nous faire une différence dans la communauté nous positivement parce que c'est ça notre remet ouais. Pas de monde qui a une question, pas un mec qui levé. Si il y a un mec qui levé, normalement comme ça, je ne dois pas voir. Mais si il y a un monde qui levé virtuellement, pas voir ça tout. Donc, nous sommes contents que monsieur te prenne la parole. Et nous là, nous gagnons et mesdames qui posent un pile de questions. Alors, Sandra, qui sont à remettre, dis-nous pour conclure, pour nous capables de séparer à soi. Et puis, on vous remercie parce que nous connaissons. À la dernière minute, comment ça a été passé.
I know. Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much. C'est un privilège, it's an honor for me de la plateforme pour parler avec nous. Moi, c'est ma côté ça bon Dieu dit me faire. So, pas comme si je juste lève me faire sur ma qui l'encœur pour bon Dieu dit pour partager douleur que l'empêche perdre cheveux moi. I'm going to say it in English. I'm so privileged and to be here today to share my word because it's my calling to share my knowledge with my community. And I'm going to say, look at yourself in the mirror and start loving yourself. You matter. You matter. It's important to look at yourself and say, I want the best for myself. You don't have to suffer by yourself. You're dealing with hair loss. If you find someone you can talk to, parent or whatever, you know someone, get connected with me. You matter. I am devoted to help people to go through the process, understanding emotionally how hair loss is a big deal. So I am so grateful and thankful. Again, I'm not here for myself to say I'm a nurse practitioner, I'm a hairstylist. I am just here doing God's work. When Perret asked me to be here one day only, I said, "Oh my goodness, God, why now?" Because when He asks you to do something, you step into it. You don't ask questions, and you go for it. So I thank everyone. Y'all all beautiful, even though people that's behind the camera, I'm sure y'all all beautiful people. We are Black women, and it starts with us. If we have the knowledge, and I have the knowledge, I am here just to do my job. I just like to share what I know because you matter.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandra. And I like the verse that you put at the end of your presentation. Can you repeat it again for us? The verse, well, God
the
knows.
verse that God knows that every single hair in our head. You know what that means? We are important. When you stand up, if God knows every string of our hair, He knows it. That means He didn't make a mistake with us. But even though we don't have all the strands we were born with, you still matter. Même si vous perdez cheveux, bon Dieu connaît tout grand cheveux perdu tout. You matter. You're still beautiful. C'est pas cheveux seulement qui fait nous. Nous avons l'autre bagage qualité la caille nous qui a entré que nous still important. It's not only about hair. We are more than hair. Hair is something that we had, and sometimes we could lose it, but it does not determine your destination in life. That's all.
All right, thank you. And well, before I do the closing remarks, I'm gonna read your website. It's posted in the chat, inspiredbybelsa.com.
Yeah.
And there's a phone number, 617-296-6338. That's a number you can call if you want to talk to Sandra personally. And I'm reading. Thank you, Sandra. This has been very informative. Thank you, Sandra. Be blessed. Amen. Self-esteem is the key. Thank you, Sandra, for sharing this information with us. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Sandra. Amen. Thank you. We do matter. Yes and amen. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. Thank you, Sandra, for your time, your knowledge sharing, and everything else. I know you have other expertise that you might come again, and I am very thankful for your willingness to help the Tabitha sisters spread the word, making changes in the community, and together we can make big things happen in the community. Well, thank you again to all. I'm going to ask you to bow your head for a word of prayer before we depart tonight. Éternel, notre Dieu, notre Père, nous disons merci en pile parce que vous bon privilège pour encore une fois nous être capables de rencontrer pour nous parler de ça qui est important. Comment on choisit nous et comment nous gagnons valeur dans les yeux. Donc, tous ces détails, on met dans le corps, l'autre a créé nous, c'est tout important. Donc, nous gagnons cheveux, nous, en pile, nous avons perdu. Ça vient faire que parfois nous sentons stressés, nous sentons pas à l'aise avec l'autre monde qui est à côté de nous. Nous avons cherché à couvrir ça, mais on gagne façon, on gagne des informations qu'on met à disposition, nous, afin que nous soyons capables de travailler sur eux pour gagner changement fait dans la vie, et puis nous sommes capables plus vivre avec cœur content et partager connaissances nous avec d'autres. Merci pour Sandra qui est venue ensemble avec nous, tandis qu'elle continue à apprendre pour capable de venir un tricologiste dans la communauté, nous sommes capables d'ouvrir l'intelligence, pour capable réussir avec succès et comme ça, les mêmes, les capables d'instruire l'autre et ensemble, nous sommes capables de faire changement du Seigneur. Faire au-delà de l'espérance, nous, tandis que nous pourrons séparer, nous demandons même nous séparer de corps ou bien virtuellement comme ça, mais nous connaissons que nous-mêmes, nous toujours là ensemble avec nous, nous sommes capables de continuer avec nous. Bénis-nous, nous prions dans le nom de Jésus qui vit et demeure au siècle des siècles. Amen.
Thank you, Lord.
Amen.
All right, this is it.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank